It's the Most High show made by and for people in recovery. It's a show about recovery, spirituality, and being human. Our mission is to provide impactful, community-driven media that informs, empowers, and inspires positive change. Real people, real stories, real life. This is the Most High show. Our host is Sarah, and I'm Christian.
Hi, guys.
Jason is on the ones and twos. I think Josie's doing quality control. There's a group of wild animals out there.
Very wild animals.
They're all hopped up on Mountain Dew. And our guest today, he is a father of two, the founder of Truthful Soul Hypnosis. He has a background in health and fitness, life coaching, NLP, RTT therapy, we'll figure out what those stand for, and hypnosis. So the theme for tonight is accessing the subconscious for real transformation. So please welcome Duran to the Most High Show.
I just know teachers loved your name during roll call that first day of school.
It was Darren. I was already prepared to correct him.
You did.
Often.
Yeah. And so you always were quick to correct him.
Yeah, it was just I just got used to them just butchering my name. That started changing when I got to college.
Okay, what'd you change it to?
Oh, no, my name was the same, but they just knew how to pronounce it properly.
In college.
Yeah.
Higher education, more sophistication.
That was my assumption, too.
Yeah.
They understand phonetics.
Exactly.
Share us, you have an interesting story about going from personal training into hypnosis.
Yeah.
Which on the surface don't seem like they're related at all. Just explain to us that kind of journey of you got into personal training, and then how do you make the transition into hypnosis?
As a personal trainer, I was passionate about it. So for me, people came to me for advice about training. So for me at that time, I was like, I can make a business out of this. So I ended up doing that, was really successful with that, owned 2 gyms. I was making close to $500,000 a year, doing really well for myself, traveling. I knew at the time I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. So even as I got the ability to have the gym mature and run on its own, I was thinking about speaking, traveling the world. I was into Tony Robbins, so I wanted to just speak to people, do a lot of motivational stuff. So during that time, I started speaking to high schools just because I wanted them to just be motivated to do whatever they desired to do, since I was doing it myself. I started to have some issues with child custody stuff. And at the time, I thought that was just making everything worse for me. So I started having a lot of anger issues. Because of that, I started not being able to make decisions properly. So business started to decline from there. And during that time, I knew I just don't want to do this anymore. I was depressed and anxious, and I just made the decision to just sell my business. And this decision, when I say overnight decision, it was an overnight decision. It was, I'm going to get rid of the business. So I ended up doing that. And during that time, I was like, all right, I got to find what's next for me. So I was like on this search, let's say. And during that time, like closer to the end of me selling my businesses, I was into yoga. So I started doing yoga and enjoyed that. Started teaching, opened up a small little practice, but at the same time, I was like, I just don't really want to continue doing this. From there, I started going into coaching, enjoyed that. However, I was coming across people where some would get results, some would not get results. And even during that time, I realized I was still dealing with some depression and a lot of anxiety. And it wasn't until I came across hypnotherapy where I was like, this actually really works. And just from there, I just dove deeper into it. And I remember I had a therapist and a coach at one point in my life tell me, once you're depressed, you're always depressed. And I never believed that. For me, I know I wasn't born to be depressed my entire life.
That sounds freaking horrible.
Yeah.
Dude.
Wait, but what does that mean, though?
Yeah.
You will never not be depressed, or is they're viewing it as like a clinical thing, of this is something you're always going to have to deal with?
So for me, and I think that's a question for them to be here to kind of explain. But for me, in my mind, it was them saying the moment you have depression, like you're always going to be depressed for your entire life. There's no cure for it. That's how I perceived it in my head.
Okay.
So for me, I was like, I can't agree to that.
Yeah.
So when I came across hypnosis, it's been ultimately the only thing that has helped me with depression and anxiety.
So you found a therapist, hypnotherapist for yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So you experienced it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about that. You go in, and are you apprehensive? Or are you just at the point of, I'm just down for something to work? Or what was your headspace at when you first go into that?
I was excited about it because up to that point, I probably spent around like $70,000 just trying to find a healing modality. So I was excited about it. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know what happened, but as time went on, I realized something shifted. And that's what made the big change for me.
Wow. You say you don't know what happened.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened either because we're very ignorant to hypnosis while we're having you on, and all of the stigma that associated with it, which I'm sure you're well aware of. So what did happen, though?
What happened is there was information given to my unconscious, subconscious mind. I use them interchangeably.
Okay.
To reprogram it in a way that's designed to get me towards the desired outcome that I want.
Okay.
So the reason why it's very important not to be so concerned with what happened is because when you're focused on what happened, the analytical mind kicks back in. The analytical mind is actually what is perpetuating the problem. Because to your unconscious mind, there is no problem. And
would the analytical mind be like what some of us might call the ego?
Yeah, you could call the ego conscious mind. So ultimately, I look at there's two parts of mind. You have your conscious mind, you have your unconscious mind.
Okay.
The conscious mind is the thinking mind. Conscious mind is what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, right? Unconscious mind is I don't know why, but I'm craving pizza. I don't know why. So it's that you releasing the why behind it.
Okay.
And it really comes down to trusting your unconscious mind knows what's best for you. Because even though we can call something a problem, and a good example I give people is someone, let's say they have a fear of public speaking. They're like, Duran, I'm really fearful of public speaking. I want to speak. And what they don't realize at the time is their unconscious mind is creating that fear for them. And for most people, rationally, it's like, that's terrible. Why would they do that to themselves? Think about what can happen. They get up on stage, and now they make a mistake. They mess up. They say a word improperly. And because of that, now people are making fun of them. So their unconscious mind is like, hey, we're creating this fear because this fear can prevent you from experiencing something worse. Embarrassment, judgment, shame.
Okay.
So it's ultimately understanding where the emotional scale is and noticing that our subconscious mind, unconscious mind's number one priority is to keep us safe.
Yeah.
So is the unconscious mind like when you have to dig deep to figure out, because you're like, oh, I have this fear of public speaking, and then it's looking at, okay, but why? And then that's when you listed like okay, what if you make a mistake? What if you mispronounce a word and now people are making fun of you? And so it's like that underlying fear. Is that, even though you can access that with your conscious mind, is that your unconscious mind? If that makes sense.
All of our emotions are in our unconscious mind.
Okay.
So asking the questions like that is going to be a conscious thought.
Okay.
So it's you trying to figure, for example, an individual like that, they can be aware, oh, the reason why I'm fearful of public speaking is because I'm fearful of making a mistake. It's a fear of judgment and embarrassment. So now that individual can be aware of it. But one thing I used to think is, oh, awareness creates change. It's not true at all. Right. Awareness doesn't create change. Awareness just brings you to more awareness to what's actually the problem. And for many people, that can be problematic because what they do, I know what it is, but then their mind keeps spinning on this hamster wheel of, it's this. And then their unconscious mind is like, this is good. Because now they will never figure out how to get rid of this. Because having that problem keeps them ultimately safe. And another example that just came up for me right now, unconsciously, is your mind's number one priority is to keep you safe, right? Yeah. So I always use this example and people always laugh. What would you rather have? One leg cut off or two legs? People are like, oh, neither. If you got to pick one.
Yeah.
One or two legs. Oh, one. Yeah. Both suck.
Yeah.
But your unconscious mind is picking and choosing which is the lesser of two evils per se.
So you said it here. Awareness isn't enough. Healing happens at the subconscious level.
Yes.
To me, what comes up is, like in recovery language, it's what we would call like a psychic change or maybe spiritual. Would you equate those in the same realm or worlds, or because language, like people, the thinking mind likes to put labels on shit and go,
yes,
this is that and this is that. And when I'm hearing you explain this to me, it's the words I would use would be a psychic change or spirit or spiritual. Those are the words that I would use.
And that's important to know because your model of the world is that. And one thing I'll preface too is I do conversational hypnosis. So not traditional hypnotherapy. And I'll go into that later on. But in conversational
We need to switch
hypnosis.
seats.
Wow.
Because he's doing conversational hypnosis.
Oh, not right now.
How do I? How do you know you're not unconsciously?
Huh? Oh, I'm
Hypnotizing.
let me say this: we're all doing it to one another to some extent. I will say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But now, and more importantly, this is probably one of those kickers: is every single person is hypnotizing themselves every single day. Now, it's in which direction?
Wait, but like when you gaslight yourself, is that hypnotizing yourself?
What do you think?
I'm going to say yes.
And that is.
Yeah, I think I maybe know what you're talking about because especially like in the show or there's a moment when we might have crossed that threshold where all of a sudden it's just us talking, all the production, the lights and the camera and everything, and then we're like we're surfing the cosmos, like it's what it feels like. So maybe we're like in like your language to say we're in this subconscious space now. Because we're communicating at I don't know, deeper is the word. I don't know.
Yeah. So like right now, we're throwing terms out there.
Yeah.
If I was working with a client,
Yeah.
your terms are what I'm going to give you. So one of the the father of modern hypnosis is Milton H. Erickson.
Okay.
He was a psychologist, and he's the one that pretty much created conversational hypnosis.
Okay.
He started off doing traditional hypnosis, where he would have a client. He'd get them nice and relaxed, and then he would give them direct suggestions. So for about 20% of the population, it works. Those analytical people, the 80%, not so much. Because what was happening is he was working with these clients, and he would get them nice and relaxed. And it could be something like, all right, Christian, just go ahead and close your eyes and just imagine a nice, beautiful staircase to go down. And then that individual, okay, what color should the staircase be? How many steps? So they're analyzing already.
That would be you.
Yeah.
No, I can visualize. I visualize
Yeah.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
I saw the staircase.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not.
You did not. Yeah, so that's you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was projecting.
Yeah. So you have individuals where they're going to be so caught up in all of the details of it.
Yeah.
So when you give them a direct suggestion, it's like, all right, you're happy and you're healthy. Their minds are rejecting it because they never got into that state to where they can be open to suggestions. So he started doing conversational, which was very permissive. It'd be something more, hey, you could drink another sip of your water because it probably tastes good, right? And he would realize that they would do it now so easily. And as that would start to happen,
Fighting the urge.
and you are.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that you're fighting the
My
urge.
mouth
'cause
is watering.
One thing you notice is what you said earlier is, oh, are you doing it to me right now? But
Yeah.
what you're realizing right now is, that's right.
So is that like when people are like, okay, don't think of an elephant, and then the only thing you think of is an elephant? Similar or like way off base?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So if someone says, don't think of an elephant, that individual is going to think of an elephant. It's really how you use your words. So like with conversational, it's doing it in a way to get their mind so caught up in the current task that you gave them to do that their unconscious mind opens up. So your conscious mind, people like to multitask. Your conscious mind can only take on 7 bits of information at a time. And there it is. Boom. See?
No, it was going to happen anyway. Your
Boom.
suggestion.
Gotcha.
didn't-
Yes.
That's the real question.
Of course.
Was I
So-
already going to drink it, or was it because of the suggestion?
Yeah. We'll let the viewers decide on that.
Comment below.
Comment below.
Was he going to drink it anyway?
Was he going to drink anyways?
Yes, that's a great. You need to sit with Reeves. Remember Reeves comes in and does the mindful stuff because there's a very similar. Anyway, sorry. Let's do this. Let's move
Yeah.
forward to the common misconceptions.
Okay.
And we have here like the Hollywood stage acts versus clinical work. I think that's a really important distinction to make for people who are looking, who have tried all these, I don't want to say modern or like conventional methods of therapies and things, and have always wrote off hypnosis because of this, because of the misconceptions. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, hypnosis has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It goes back to Egyptian times where they had what was called dream temples, where people would go into these temples and they would be surrounded by all these snakes, and then they would lay there and they'd be hypnotized for whatever purposes that they had going on. They used it
Lay around snakes?
Pardon?
They would lay around snakes?
You would love that.
Yeah.
So there's even people that talk about the medical staff. They have the snake that wraps around the staff right there. They've used it for soldiers as a way to numb them from pain. What happened, this is like on the history of it, is Sigmund Freud came around and started introducing psychotherapy model. So you have people that were being healed from whatever issue. It was like a one and done type of thing. However, it was one of those things, well, it's not that much money to help someone once, but what if we just keep them coming back week after week?
Okay.
So that started to push.
So not a fan of
hypnosis away.
Freud. You're not a fan of Freud.
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
The reason why is because his outlook on the unconscious mind was it's a terrible, dark, nightmarish place. And he made it to where people, and that demonized hypnosis, where people are like, oh, I don't want to go in the unconscious mind. So you have some people like, I don't want you messing with my mind. It's like, what do you mean? So he created that image for people, which scared a lot of people away from it.
Yeah.
So you have that happened, I'm not sure, hundreds of years, so on and so forth. So you have a lot of misconceptions that takes place in movies where they make it seem like it's mind control. Someone's going to take control of my mind. In hypnosis, the only mind control that happens is the client or patient actually giving them control back of their mind. It's not them thinking, oh, this person is making me do this. That thing is making me do that. It's, oh, I'm doing this. It goes back to the self-hypnosis things. So it's giving them control back over themselves.
Because like I think of the fair and the guys up there, and he's making people cluck like a chicken.
Oh, yeah, stage, yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Or like
Yeah,
the
that's
pendulum and
Hollywood
the
thing.
spiral.
So
Yeah.
stage hypnosis and the pendulum thing. The reason why people talk about the pendulum is because there was an individual. What happened when he learned hypnosis, like centuries ago, he had a pocket watch, and he would lift it up, and anyone can go into hypnosis. He lifted up above their eye line. Anytime your eyes get above and look up above your eye line, you get into an altered state just like that. And it's what happens when you go to sleep. Before you go to sleep, what happens?
Yeah, you're
your
right.
eyes start to lift up. So anyone can go into hypnosis just from doing that.
Fascinating.
So people
You're
think
really
it's,
good at breaking this down.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
fucking great.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm so good at it is because one of my goals is to help demystify all the crap that people know about it.
Yeah.
Because once again, it's not the clock, it's not the watch. It's just having your eyes lift up, and that gets you into that state just like that. But as far as stage hypnosis, anyone that goes on stage is entertainment. A hypnotist is going to probably search the crowd and is going to ask, hey, you want to come up on stage? Of course, once they give consent, they know it's entertainment. They're not going to go up on stage and not entertain. So they're already
subconsciously agreeing.
They're already suggestible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things also where if they cluck like a chicken, guess what they can do? I was hypnotized.
Yeah.
So they can always push it off on I was hypnotized.
Mm.
But really, they were allowing themselves to do it. Because I can't help anyone do anything that they don't want to do. So if I really don't want to stop smoking, but my wife wants me to smoke. So you don't want to stop smoking? No. My wife wants me to stop. Then it's not a smoking problem. It's why is this an issue for her? And why is that bothering you? So it turns into a different issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. By the way, we're going to do a live snake charming hypnosis. Intern number 5, Bailey, has agreed, alive, has agreed to be hypnosis and has a desired result. That's coming up. Just
Stay
want to
tuned.
plug that in. Okay, so let's talk about this zoning out while driving, crying at movies. What does that have to do with hypnosis?
So a question that people often ask is, can anyone be hypnotized? So the answer is yes. Hypnosis is a natural state. Everyone goes into it. So a good way to explain how people get into it, if you ever are watching a movie, it's how come I'm crying at this movie? I know it's not real. Because if you're watching it, you're so immersed in it. It's like you're part of it. And if something happens, someone scares someone in the movie, you jump because your mind is being receptive to everything that's actually happening.
Oh.
When you're driving, if you zone out.
Film is like watching film would be a form of hypnosis.
Yeah, because so to break down what hypnosis really is a concentrated state of mind. So if you're watching a movie and you're very immersed and concentrated,
that's how I am. When I'm watching a movie, I'm like,
yeah.
You ever like the movie you just watched becomes your personality for a second, and you have to grieve the fact that the movie's over.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
So you're so immersed in it,
like Googling the ending and the meaning. 'Cause I still want to stay
yes.
in
What
it,
else has
you
that
know?
actor been in?
Yeah, right, yeah.
I thought that was just me actually.
Yeah. No.
You're at the right table, dog.
Right? Yeah.
So we should call this like most hypnosis media.
Sure.
The film is a form of hypnosis, right?
I don't want to say film. It depends on your receptivity. Because if you're watching a film and let's say you're with your wife and it's a chick flick and you're like, I don't care at all about this movie. And she's over there bawling because of the movie, but you're like, this movie's trash. You're not receptive to it.
Okay.
You're not interested in it. So you're
Okay.
not concentrating on it.
Yeah.
You may be over in the corner like checking social media or something. But if she's given all of her attention to it, then
So it's not necessarily like the object that it's like you said, it's not the clock. It's not the film. It's the person immersing themselves in
willingness.
the world. The willingness. Okay.
Yeah. So even when it goes to the driving, if you're driving and let's say it's a similar commute and route over and over again, it's so much mental patterns that your mind knows it. So it's to the point where you may be so lost in thought that it's like, if you're lost in thought, who's driving the car? It's scary. Yeah. And sometimes you may get to your destination and you'll be like, you're about to get out of the car, like, how did I even get here? I don't remember the cars in front of me when I got off. What was driving the car then? It was your unconscious mind. It was doing all that work for you. And a good example I gave someone earlier today, it's, are you being aware of every single thing that's happening with your respiration right now? Probably going to be like, no. Right. Just imagine if you were to sit here and just become mindful of your respiration. Your whole life would be that. So our unconscious mind does that for us. If you were to get a cut on your skin, you're not looking at it and saying, okay, I want X amount of cells to go to that cut and I want to have it stop bleeding. You're not doing that. You're letting your unconscious mind do it for you. You're not digesting food thinking about it. It's all doing it for you.
Yeah.
But going to like the zoning out scenario, I think a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot improperly is dissociating. So can you explain the difference between zoning out and dissociating?
So dissociating is when you're disconnected from your body. And I would use the word dissociating when it comes more so when someone's speaking about a trauma per se. And what would happen to an individual is they experienced a trauma and their body doesn't feel safe. And because it doesn't feel safe, they live in their head. So you could say zone out could be some form of that. It's some form of it. But ultimately, zoning out is not a ongoing thing. If someone's zoned out on an ongoing basis, I would say from a clinical term, like I can't make, what do we call it? Diagnosis on it. But that would probably be dissociation, where someone's doing it on an ongoing basis. But if someone's doing it and they're driving, it could be they're just really deep in thought on, man, like you're going to a party. Like, man, I got a party next week. I'm trying to figure out what to get this and go to Amazon and put this in my shopping cart. Oh, I got to use Prime. And then, hold on, how did I get it?
So zoning out is really more likely going to happen when you're engaging in like a pattern, like driving on a familiar road or doing like washing the dishes, doing like something monotonous, repetitive that you're used to doing.
It's repetitive. So it's very meditative at the same time as well.
That might explain why like I've heard like a high percentage of car accidents happen within 5 miles of your home.
Yeah.
Because you're in a zoned out state. So you're predicting a pattern that for the most part is a traffic pattern of society moving around, but then somebody breaks the pattern and pulls out in front of you, and you're in that zoned out state, so you don't reflect as quick.
See, I always tense when I'm turning into my neighborhood because no one slows down enough to let me turn, and so I'm always like, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit.
I look at it differently. I look at it as most accidents happen probably 5 miles from home, because most people aren't thinking that an accident is going to be happening so close to home. I've had 2 car accidents, and both were probably no less than 2 miles from my house, in opposite direction, on the same road too.
Yeah.
Same road. Because during those accidents, I wasn't focusing.
Yeah.
One accident, I was like a kid. I was looking in the mirror. One, I was just kept driving. And once again, there's so many reasons it could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Subconscious reprogramming of trauma, beliefs, and emotional loops. Understanding hypnosis. So what real hypnotherapy does is it's the subconscious reprogramming of trauma, beliefs, and emotional loops.
Yeah.
Not fixating on the party that you're going to while driving home.
I think there's like a form of trauma therapy that's called, David does it, that's not EMDR, brain spotting. And brain spotting is it's like a non-story, like in EMDR, there's a linear story that you're telling associated with the trauma, right? So you're accessing that analytical brain and the memory and that kind of stuff. And then in brain spotting, you don't always aren't telling the story of what happened, and it's some thing. And so and it's a newer form of trauma therapy, but a lot of people prefer that experience because they don't have to relive the narrative level of what happened to them. So it's able to happen at a subconscious level, and it's all eye movements, to your point about looking up. I'm just trying to give us some handles of what this reprogramming subconscious. Yeah.
So with hypnosis, you don't need to share any story, because your story is a past state and probably most likely a present state.
Yeah.
So I don't care about that stuff. Not saying that I'm not validating what happened. It's, do you want to just talk about all these problems, or do you just want to tell me where you want to go? Because if you want to tell me where you want to go, let's go there.
Yeah.
Because hypnosis is future oriented. It's future focused.
Yeah.
So by me focusing on that, and I know that meant a lot to you right there because I saw that. If you're focused on the future, what's the point of bringing up the past? What's the point of it? The past already happened.
Yeah.
What is there to deal with in the past? Because what happens is people
Every counselor is cringing right now.
Yeah, I know. And that's one thing I tell on my social media. I tell people, like, hey, listen, I'm not against therapy. Go to therapy.
Yeah.
However, if it's not working, then do hypnosis.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're using thoughts, which for many people, the number one addiction in the world is thinking.
Yeah.
That's the number one addiction. So people are using the number one addiction to try to solve a problem, and it's not working. Well, duh, It's not working because it's not you releasing thoughts from the past. It's the most important thing, which every single problem originates to this one thing. It's your emotions in the past. You're not going to use thoughts to resolve emotions. What happens when I work with clients is we get to their desired state, outcome state, and they're like, I feel good. And a day later, oh my God, what is this feeling? Like, I don't know. And they're like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, I know what's going on. You told your unconscious mind, hey, I'm ready. Once you say you're ready, it's like, all right, grab the emotion, let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
And once that happens, what attachment do they have to the past? Because the only attachment they have to the past is the emotion.
Yeah.
That's it. Once you resolve the emotion, what's left?
Yeah.
Because you can change your thoughts at any moment. You can sit down and tell yourself, I am happy, I'm healthy, I'm cured, over and over again. And yeah, you are. But that emotion is still there.
Yeah.
So what happens is people are like, I'm telling myself I'm happy, but I still feel angry. I know, because you're trying to use your thoughts to get rid of an emotion. It doesn't work that way. The only way to get rid of an emotion is to get your body to be safe, not relaxed, safe enough to release. Because if your body's not feeling safe, then what's the point of releasing it? And I shared this story with a client recently. I said, just imagine you're in your house, you look outside your window, and there's chaos outside. There's chaos. Are you going to go outside? He's like, no, of course I'm not going to go outside. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't either. But just imagine you look outside the window, and people outside having a great time, and smiles. Like, how likely you're going to go outside? He's like, man, I'm going to get my kids. We're all going to go outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. In order to go outside, what are you going to do? Go out that front door. Yeah, you're going to open the door. What is that door in that metaphor? Your unconscious mind, opening it to receive. But if you know there's chaos in the world, your mind doesn't feel safe, it's not going to open the door.
Yeah. Huh. It's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah. I think the thing that's resonating for me personally is I've felt, and this just might be from my own work, but it's like less attached to the story of things, right? Like even if I'm sitting with someone, but even so, my own story, right? Because sometimes it's like the story of my past and the retelling of the story of my past reinforces the emotions of it, right? And I think it's different from being able to look at a situation like an uncomfortable emotional state, right? And say, okay, I can tell like that was like a disproportionate emotional response to the situation, right? And I probably can understand at some level. That's probably because I grew up with an alcoholic father and a verbally abusive home, and it was never safe. And so there's things that happen today which are not related to that, but will bring that emotional state back. And it's like, how many times can I tell myself that story of I grew up like that, when it's at some level it's like, fucking just change it. Just like it's almost like I feel like this sense of I have the ability to fucking change it. So just change it. And sometimes we say it like, do the next right thing. I'll take action. So I'll clean. I'll do something. I'll make music. That's it's not disassociating, but it's like I'm moving on regardless of how I feel, because the feeling and the story behind the feeling is not, and reliving it and rehashing it is not fucking helping anymore.
Yeah.
So why do I keep wanting to, you understand? So when you're saying this stuff, that's what brings up for me is like, at some level, it's not rocket surgery, right? Like you just make a decision and be like, why do I keep returning to this state? It's uncomfortable. I don't like the way I feel. And why do I keep returning to it?
I would say it's because you might have not identified where you want to go.
The beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like rehashing it.
Yeah.
So then what do you want instead?
Yeah.
Tell your mind. If you keep reliving and hashing it out,
Yeah.
where's your mind?
The mind needs something to do.
Yeah.
So give it something to do, which is
you
vision the future.
So yeah,
Yeah.
So that's the easiest thing that anyone can do.
Yeah.
It's okay. What do I want instead? I call that the golden question.
Yeah.
What do I want? Because what happens is in some therapeutic settings, people sit down, they'll word vomit all what's going on in their life, and it happens to me sometimes. Some clients will hire me, and they'll sit down like Duran, and it's like 10 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, so what do you want? And then
Yeah.
that's all I had to say, and they're already in a trance. And the reason why is because they've been so boxed into the problem, they've never identified what is it they want instead.
Or even know that they could want it. That they
Or it
could
could be
want
that.
something. Like,
Yeah.
I know that was even just the fact that I could want something that wasn't bad for me.
Yeah.
Being someone in recovery, historically, all the things I want are bad for me and my family and society.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like there's such a process of that going, oh, I could want something good, beautiful for myself. And I think a lot of people get trapped in it. Like it's like a fundamental self-hatred almost. They don't even think that they can want something good for themselves.
So then it turns in, and it's a case-by-case basis of people. It could be something as, I want something good.
Yeah.
And once they get there, ooh, I got it. I want this now.
Yeah.
Now I want this.
Yeah.
So it could be baby steps. And sometimes I've had people tell me like, Duran, I don't know what I want. If you don't know what you want, I don't want to assume, but maybe this whole session should be about you uncovering what you want.
Yeah.
And
I love
that
it.
could be the
Awesome.
icing on the cake from.
Yeah. Okay, I think that let's do this clearing out the myths, and then we're going to have I'm Alive number 5 come on. Can hypnosis make someone reveal secrets?
If they want to reveal secrets, yes.
Okay. I hope you're listening. Okay. Is hypnosis permanent?
If an individual wants it to be, yes.
Do I get a magic word? Is that not true?
Does she get a magic word? That's her question.
Word.
Huh? In what way? A magic word for what?
There's always the movies and there'll be like hear a sound and they snap out of hypnosis. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
So she's asking if there is, because she's off mic, but she's asking if there is a keyword or a sound that will snap her out of the hypnosis.
Oh, yeah. So let me say this, too. Let's say we were in a session and she's in hypnosis and I just walk away. She's not going to be stuck in hypnosis. She'll eventually just come out of it. So if that's what you're asking, like you'll never be stuck in hypnosis. Like you eventually have to get up and do something else.
All right, so let's swap. We're going to have Bailey come up here. Me and Sarah are going to exit, and we'll let you guys do the thing.